Right now, Colombia is walking a tightrope. On one side, you've got this incredible promise of artificial intelligence. I mean, it could completely transform the economy, solve huge problems. But on the other side, there's this very real risk of creating a deeper, more permanent digital divide. It's a full-on technological gold rush, and the whole country is just trying to keep its balance.
And look, this isn't some conversation about the future. It's happening right now. Get this. According to a recent IBM study, 1 out of every 4 companies in Colombia is already actively using AI. Not just thinking about it, not planning for it, they're using it in their operations today. The wave isn't coming, it's already crashed on the shore.
And this quote from Andrés Barrantes, the CEO of Nuvu, just says it all. This isn't a question of if it will happen, it already happened. I mean, the speed of this change is just staggering. And the message is loud and clear for everyone. You either get on board or you're going to get left behind.
That's really the best way to describe it. It's a technological gold rush. The gold, in this case, is data. And the new mining tools are these AI algorithms. You have companies and innovators in this frantic race to find value, convinced that there's this massive potential just waiting to be unlocked.
But like with any gold rush, we have to ask the most important question. Who's being left behind? As the country sprints forward into this new era, who's getting shut out? And that's the real tension here. That's the dilemma at the very heart of Colombia's AI story.
So, to really get a grip on this, let's first look at the boom itself. How are companies, we're talking big and small, actually using AI, and why are they pouring so much money into it? Okay, so what's wild about this is just how widespread the adoption is. A report from NTT Data found that 100% of large companies they surveyed have already invested in generative AI. 100%. But it's not just the big players. A Microsoft study found that 2/3 of small and medium-sized businesses are also using AI. This isn't a niche thing, it's everywhere.
So, why the big rush? Well, it all comes down to real, tangible results. The benefits are crystal clear. You see over 3/4 of companies reporting more agile processes. And that, in turn, leads to things like happier customers and, of course, a big boost in productivity. These aren't just buzzwords. There are real improvements to the bottom line that make the investment worth it.
But here's the thing. Adoption is only half the story. Colombia isn't just a consumer of AI. It's becoming a creator. There's this whole new wave of local innovators and startups who are building the country's AI future from the ground up. Just look at how fast things have moved. Back in 2019, the government lays the groundwork with a national policy. Just 2 years later, in 2021, Bogotá launches its first AI chatbot. Then you fast forward to 2023, and bam, there's an explosion of AI startups. And looking ahead, by 2025, the University de Caldas is on track to launch the very first Faculty of Artificial Intelligence in all of Latin America. The pace is just breathtaking. And you can see this innovation making a real difference. You've got startups like Uno and FinTech that are using AI to fight fraud. Torre.ai is automating recruitment. And look at Aprobe. It's using AI to give credit scores to over 1.5 million Colombians who were unbanked. And Educo is building personalized AI tutors. See, these aren't just tech companies, they're problem solvers. And the impact goes even deeper, touching the very fabric of society. The National Police are using AI to analyze data to predict crime hotspots so they can send resources where they're needed most. In Cali, their healthcare system is using machine learning to flag risks for newborns, letting doctors step in sooner. I mean, the potential here for social good is just huge. And this quote from Andrés Barrantes again, it just perfectly captures the innovator's mindset. We are standing on a gold mine. Now, how are we going to extract value from that data? For them, the question isn't if there's value. It's how fast can we use AI to turn all this raw data into progress, into solutions, and into profit. Okay, but this is where the story takes a very sharp turn, because for all of this optimism and all this innovation, there is a massive obstacle looming. A great divide that threatens to split the country into the AI haves and the AI have-nots. Let's start with the infrastructure divide. It's pretty stark. On one hand, you've got 2/3 of small and medium businesses using AI. But on the other hand, only about 34% of households in the country even own a computer. Add to that how expensive data plans are for people with low incomes, and you have to ask, how can you have an AI revolution
if most people can't even get online to be a part of it?
Then you have the people divide. Tech leaders tend to be optimistic, saying technology simply changes jobs. But labor unions are a lot more worried, saying it affects jobs. And by affect, they mean replace. And that fear isn't coming from nowhere. A recent study showed 56% of employees don't have the skills they need to work with AI. That's not just a skills gap, that's a chasm.
And these fears can get intensely personal. Take the case of Armando Plata, one of Colombia's most famous and beloved voice actors. His iconic voice was cloned by an AI and then used in commercials, all without his consent, without his knowledge. All of a sudden, the threat isn't just about losing a job, it's about having your very identity stolen. It makes the potential for misuse and disinformation feel terrifyingly real. And all of this leads to a third major gap, a trust divide. Can people actually trust the system to protect them? Well, critics like Carolina Botero from the Charisma Foundation argue that the government's AI policy is, frankly, weak when it comes to human rights. She says its vision privileges the enabling of the market. The fear here is that the rules are being written to help companies, not to protect regular citizens. So with these huge divides in infrastructure, in people's skills, and in trust, how does Colombia even begin to move forward? Well, let's look at the efforts that are underway to try and build bridges across these gaps, to create a future where AI works for everyone. The government has laid out this comprehensive national AI policy, and it's built around 6 key pillars. They're trying to tackle everything from ethics and governance to building up infrastructure and talent. It's basically a structured attempt to address the very divides we've been talking about, trying to manage the risks while still pushing for adoption.
And really, education is right at the heart of this whole solution. We're seeing an absolute explosion in AI education. On top of that, new faculty at Universidad de Caldas. Other universities like La Sabana and Javeriana are launching new PhD and master's programs. And crucially, the government has a plan to train teachers in 4,000 schools on AI and data. They're trying to tackle that skills gap head on. But ultimately, as the presidential advisor Belfort Garcia puts it, this just can't be an isolated effort. Building these bridges, it's going to take a massive collaborative push. We're talking government, the private sector, and academia all pulling in the same direction. It really is about working together to make sure this AI revolution benefits everyone, not just a select few. Which brings us back to that fundamental question. What is AI ultimately going to be for Colombia? Will it end up as a tool that just deepens the inequalities that are already there, creating a sort of permanent technological underclass? Or can it be a bridge, connecting the entire country to a more prosperous, more equitable, and more innovative future? The answer is being written as we speak.